The reason why international media is not allowed in Tanzania to report on their general election is because the Tanzanian government has put up extremely restraining measures and requirements for international journalists to gain entry into Tanzania. And that means if you have to be allowed in TZ, then you have to be accredited by the Tanzanian government. Something that has, let's say, been systematically been in operation since even before the installation of Samia Suluhu. And if you observe closely, even from afar as well, you definitely like to see a sense of dictatorial style of, modus operandi, leadership just, ensuing. And one thing about countries that have extreme control over the press, there's things that happen in that country that go against, human rights and the constitution and even universal laws. Look at what happened the moment chaos erupted, exploded in TZ. The first thing that they were quick to do is to gag social media. There was an enforced internet ban and shutdown. And so what does that do to the citizens of that country? It muzzles them. It muzzles them up, meaning that you've been banned and you are prohibited from speaking, protesting, and picketing. And that tells you that anything that will be implemented or enforced by your leader in that country, you don't have a say in it. And that's not democracy for real. That's dictatorship. And this is not something that should be happening in 2025 in an East African country that's deemed to be one of the best even when it comes to, tourism and fostering, trade and bilateral multinational, relationship with other countries. And that's why it's very important for us to have this conversation. Yesterday I did an update where opposition chairman John Katiko did an interview with Al Jazeera, and he said they've reported 60 cases of abductions since this year began, and our police are clobbering, citizens, locals, especially those who are picketing and demonstrating, saying they don't want to vote Samia Suluhu into office because she jailed her opponents, her contenders, and so in this election it almost looks like it's literally Samia versus Suluhu Hassan. So who else is she contesting against in this, general election? We even heard Martha Karua right here say that the election in Tanzania is a sham. It's not an open and a free election that required citizens to participate fully and exercise their constitutional rights. And that's why you're not able to see, or you'll not be seeing the likes of CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, DW, France 24, and the likes of of the rest of international media on ground reporting what exactly is happening, or being part of the team that's observing and keeping tabs with the election happening in Tanzania. Yani umefungiwa tu hivyo. Unajua the other day Samia Suluhu alikuwa amesema hataki mambo ya watu kuprotesti na kupiketi, manake hiyo ni mambo ya Kenya, inazuia wageni, inazuia kufanya biashara nini. But look, mambo ambayo yanaendelea huko ni mambo ambayo hayaeleweki. In fact, they're trying to almost get close to what happened right here in Kenya. And that just shows you that when people are muzzled, when democracy is thwarted and lynched, what follows is chaos. And this is not something that we should be anticipating or expecting in 2025 for real at such an age and time. Even Kenyan media is not allowed there, even their own media. In fact, when John Katiko was having a conversation with an Al Jazeera journalist, he was doing it in a hideout of some sorts. So that just shows you that's a dictatorship modus operandi in that country. Ridiculous. And protests are skyrocketing, and one thing that I know for sure is people will always find their way, and it will always be the people's way other than the leaders' way. Unless that systematic operation ends, there's nothing amazing to look out for from TZ. And they should learn from Kenya and even other countries, including Madagascar and Nigeria as well, and South Africa.